Well, hello, my sacred souls. This is Kat here from Triple Threat Tarot. Today we're going to be doing a 4-direction read, which is a little bit different than something I've done in the past. This is not a pick a card. This is a 4-direction read. And what that means is we are going to specify and talk about under each of the spirit animal totems what the north, east, and south and west have for you. In the north, you'll learn what wisdom you need to acquire, what wisdom is ready to mature inside you, and what your great medicine is that you are now ready to embrace. In the east, you'll discover what your probable destiny is and the way that you will share your treasures and gifts with others. In the south, you'll learn what to shed and let go of, and you'll learn that there may be an old wound that you no longer need to define yourself by. And in the west, we'll talk about a part of you that needs to die off. It's an old story and it needs to be let go of to make more room for more meaningful stories in your life. But before we do that, we first have to pick a spirit totem. So you have the bear to choose from, the dragonfly, the crow, or the snake. So I'll give you a moment to kind of reflect on that and look at those spirit totems and decide which one you actually resonate the most with. And actually, I'll hold them up for you so you can get a better view. Here's bear. Here's the dragonfly. Here's the crow. Get that into focus there. And here is the snake. Once you've picked your totem, you can jump to the comments below to access your read. Bear, dragonfly, crow, and snake. And the direction of these cards, the way they're laid out, has nothing to do with the directions I'll be reading within them. The north, south, east, and west are contained in each of these piles. So you will get to learn all 4 aspects no matter what spirit totem you pick, okay? So go ahead and pick your spirit totem, and I will join you back in a moment with your reading. Well, hello, you selected the bear totem. Bear is your spirit animal, and the bear hibernates during the winter and emerges in the spring. And much like the bear, you are undergoing a spiritual awakening. You are going to be transforming in the upcoming months, just so you know. You are coming out of hibernation now. You have a lot to look forward to, and things may be difficult or cumbersome or tricky in the beginning of this spiritual awakening. We all go through that. However, you're about to set off on a new journey to discover a new aspect of self and a change in the direction of your life for the positive. I picked 3 cards to go with the bear card, and then I'll get into the directional cards for you. The Fool tells you to take a leap of faith. This is going to be a magical transformation for you. The net will appear. The Sun tells you that your happiness is found in moving in this direction. And Temperance tells you, bear, be patient with yourself. You're not always going to be perfect in this journey. Things may happen that make it seem like this may not be the right path, but it is. Trust in spirit that you are being set off in a direction of self-discovery. Okay, bear? Then in the north, we'll start with the north for you first. This is the Ancient Ones. And this card is here to remind you that your ancestors are keeping an eye on you. Those that have gone before you are here to help you along your way, to provide counsel. The minute you understand what your calling is, they will jump in to help you. Part of the magic of this is that you need to release all of those generational curses, right? If you have any in your family, and most of us do. So if there's anyone that you need to forgive that has passed over, forgive and release them. Everything will happen in divine timing. If you want to honor your ancestors, you can light a candle tonight to do that. And that will let them know that you are ready to ask for their help, because they are ready to give it to you now. In the East, you have the Unity card. And the Unity is basically your spiritual gift and what you will share with the world. Bear, you have the ability to connect through differences. You not only see your own worth, you value others for their differences. You strive for solutions that benefit all the parties involved, no matter what the struggle is. and you empower other people. You know that empowerment is the best strategy. It's better than trying to seek power for yourself. You also strive for reciprocity in whatever relationships you have. You can let go and know that solutions will follow you. Perhaps you're undergoing some kind of career that involves fairness and justice for all. Perhaps that's a lawyer or a social worker or a teacher, something where your input and your ability to find the value in other people can make a difference. In the South, we have the temple archetype. And this card asks you to examine what you pay homage to and what you reject. You know, what do you spend your time worshiping? Is it your phone? Is it material goods? What about the body? The body's a temple. And what about the mind? The mind is also a temple. Okay? So, perhaps there are things that you can release that you spend time on that don't benefit the temple of the mind or the temple of the body. And there are more positive things you can do to improve the quality of your mind and your thoughts and to improve the health of your body. Because with this spiritual awakening, you're going to need to work on your self-care. And then the last one here is in the West, the never-ending story. And this is that story of, and it kind of relates to this ancient one that we started out with, so it completes the circle here, Bear. But this is about self-criticism, right? This is about wounded egos and unnecessary drama from the past. This is about getting sucked into other people's drama. This is about that inner critic whose refrain is, you can't do that, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that, terrible you. And that mental construct of being stopped, inhibited, giving up because of that inner critic. This part of you needs to die off so that you can experience this transformation of the bear. In your spiritual journey, you will be evolving past this. This is the part of you that got stuck in a lie. And it wants to protect you, and it's done a good job protecting you, but this is not your story anymore. Let this story go so that you can embrace this new story of this new spiritual awakening and sharing your innate gifts to value others and appreciate other people for what they offer. And know that there is support here, Bear, for you with those who have passed before you. And that doesn't necessarily mean people you know, right? It's your ancestors, okay? They know who you are. And take care of yourself, mind, body, and soul, so that you can actually evolve to help heal other people with this sense of empowerment. Okay, Bear, that's the reading I have for you in the 4 directions. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm now going to move on. Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, hello, my sacred soul. You chose the snake totem. This is the snake spirit animal here. And you can see it actually is swallowing its tail around the seed of life. The snake is actually a symbol for the Shakti, which is our creative life force that lies dormant in our spine. You may have heard of people having a Kundalini experience, and that is what they are actually referring to. This energy is unawakened or untapped, and its potential within you. What would your life be like if you woke it up? An experienced yoga or meditation teacher can lead the way, but make haste because this card appears when there is no more time to waste. It's time to engage your Shakti. There are important things for you ahead. I also pulled 3 cards for you, revolving around your current situation, and then we'll get into the 4 directions. You've got the 5 of Cups. And the 5 of Cups encourages you to stop focusing on the past, stop focusing on spilt milk, stop thinking about things that are negative or that drag you down, and start raising your frequency, right? By thinking about the present, by thinking about the positive. There are 2 pots here that are yet unbroken that have not spilled here on this card. You need to focus on the positive aspects and be thankful for what you have so that you can actually vibe at a higher frequency and engage with that Shakti. Five of Wands. There's obviously chaos around you, a state of chaos driven by a battle of wills. Somebody might be testing your confidence constantly. I don't know if this is in the workplace or what situation this is in. This can be energy of like gossiping and talking about people or trying to be undermined somewhere, either in a relationship at work or relationship, right? But this is not getting you anywhere. And engaging in this kind of energy is only draining your battery and testing your confidence and undermining your ability to see yourself moving beyond this situation. And then finally, we pulled the King of Cups. And King of Cups prefers to keep their feelings hidden, right? And these are deep emotions. And I'm saying he, but this is, this can be masculine or feminine. It just happens to be a masculine energy. The King of Cups also can allow other people's agendas to take priority over his own so that he can maintain harmony in a situation like this. And often ends up feeling resentful because of what happened in the past, because people can walk all over the King of Cups, okay? So just be mindful of that, because that kind of codependent, allowing my feelings to be trodden on and not saying anything, trying to keep the peace and harmony in chaotic situations, can undermine your own movement forward. I can feel my throat chakra right now, like honestly. We need to stay high vibe, and we need to communicate our feelings and our desires, okay? So that's the snake energy here, engaging with the Shakti and being high vibe. In the north here, we have the curse. And the north is about the wisdom that you need to acquire and what wisdom is ready to move up inside you, to mature. And the curse refers to those limiting stories from our ancestors, can be our family, right? It's generational curses. It's karma that we've acquired from our family situation. Again, generational curses, right? It preordains the events in our lives and our families did to a certain point, and now they may not any longer, right? But do we still live under those same rules, obligations, fears that were imparted on to us from our ancestors? This karmic legacy is ready and waiting to be untangled and released. And until you do, the curse holds you hostage to a false story. Forgive everyone and everything and let yourself free. Create a new life for yourself. So the wisdom here that the North is trying to give you is that not my circus, not my monkeys, right? This generational curse has nothing to do with you. And you can move away from it at any time. That is your choice. Okay? Additionally, in the east here, we have formation. And this basically says that you're still forming here, right? You're just awakening the Shakti here. You're just learning to move away from generational curses, from beliefs and cycles that were instilled from childhood. And you're just forming this new version of yourself. Everything is precious. Every moment is miraculous. You have the capacity to transform yourself now. And the process of self-discovery deepens and strengthens your own spiritual connection to life and to everything else and to everyone else. Let your emotions settle and reserve your judgment before you react. Allow all to unfold in its own time and space. You don't have to rush this, okay? This is a process that has already started taking place. All right, Spirit is already giving you the message that this is already starting to take place. Perhaps you're already trying to deal with these demons in this battle and trying to form your new self. In time, a whole new world will be available to you, but be patient with yourself. Give yourself some self-care, okay, and work on this piece and gaining the wisdom on how to deal with this first so that you can form your new self. In the South, this is something you need to let go of and to shed. And this is the underworld. And this talks about shadow realms, right? This is all about shadow work. It's those things in ourselves that not only do we most dislike in other people, but that we most dislike to think about ourselves being like. Does that make sense? The things that we try and hide, that's kind of our own shadow work. And there's plenty of like videos on YouTube on how to deal with shadow work and address those issues. But basically, if you deny its existence and you deny those things in yourself, you're only giving them power. You need to be able to accept and understand what your shadows are and to work through those and be accepting that they are there, because we all have a shadow side. We all have a dark side, particularly those of us who have grown up in this kind of legacy and this generational curse in families, right? Where there's a great deal of dysfunction and chaos and karma. That is pretty prevalent, right? So in order to get here to this new person that you're trying to become, you need to understand what it is exactly that you're trying to deny because it was a lie told to you, yes? Or you were told that aspects of yourself are not good, you know, from this generational perspective, right? And then here in the West, we have all the glitters. And this is all about understanding the mask that people wear. And if you look at the curse here, this all ties together. So if you look at the curse here, and you look at the handprint across her face, right? And not speaking here. This is all about people who wear masks and don masks and what are their intentions, right? That you need to be able to see past the glitter and the success and the money and the material wealth or the charm and the charisma and see who these people really are for yourself. Because that attraction to that gold keeps you from forming into your new self, okay? And whether it was a cycle of relationships where you were dealing with people like this, or if there were people in this generational curse aspect, in this family aspect who were like this, who wear masks and don't present themselves as they really are, or what they really intend, that's some work that you need to do to decipher this. And I think it's a lot easier once you do your own shadow work to see it in other people. Once you start investigating what really happened in your family, it's easier to see these things in other people. And then the real true you that you were born to be can emerge. Okay? So that is your reading for the snake totem. Thanks for joining me, and I'm going to move on now to the dragonfly. Hey Dragonfly, you got the Dragonfly totem. Love this totem, such a pretty little totem. Dragonflies are actually spirit animals that are all about and represent the mind darting here and there, moving quickly, fast, and skimming above the water surface. And the water is actually a symbol of emotion, where this is an air sign with the dragonfly. The water is obviously below him, and he's not drowning in it, he's actually skimming the surface and shimmering, right? So the question here that is being asked with this symbolic animal spirit totem and card for you is your mind clear? Is it clear like the water? Or is it murky? Are you drowning in your emotions, or are you flying above them? How do you clear your mind so that you can see what is really going on and so that you have balance? Meditation works for me. There may be something else that works for you. Maybe focusing on your breath will work for you, but you need to be more present in the present moment instead of in your head all the time. Okay? Then I pulled 3 cards for you as well. It's the 7 of Wands, and that's having chaos around you and having to fight off other people. This is the weary warrior. You're tired of battles here. You're tired of mental battles, your own mental battle as well here. Okay? Death, and so there's going to be a death of the old self. This is a permanent change, right? I think once you get a handle on getting the mind clear, I think your life is going to permanently change for the better. And the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a very vivacious, magnetic personality. People are drawn to her, but sometimes superficial people who give her attention because they want her attention, right? They want to be associated with her, and this can be masculine or feminine. This is just the energy that I'm talking about here. But yet the Queen of Wands often longs for true emotional connection with other people and relationships and with friends, and not phony relationships, which can sometimes happen because they're so vivacious and charismatic and charming, right? So if you long for that, if you long for those friendships and those kind of intimate connections that you're not getting now, and you're tired of these battles and you want to transform your life, I would say that getting clear on what is actually going on and having that meditative space or the focus on breath so that your mind can clear and slow down is a good place to start, Dragonfly. In the north, you have the eagle, and this is the wisdom that Spirit is bringing to you. This is something that needs to mature inside you right now. And so this is a message from Spirit that you need to take a higher perspective on things. Eagle flies closest to the sun. Eagle doesn't let any obstacles get in their way. They take everything as an opportunity, a learning life lesson. So are you making excuses for what it is that you want to do? I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough this or that. If I wait until July, maybe in August I'll do this. Spirit is encouraging you that now is the time, that you have the support from Spirit to do what you want to do. There's no room for excuses now. You weren't put on this earth, and your life wasn't meant to do some of the things that you're doing necessarily, right? And if you have an inner knowing that that's the case and this resonates with you, then what is it that you're supposed to be doing? And we'll get to some of that over here. But that being the case, the time is now. Don't put it off. Over here in the east, you have space, and this is really about what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And this is about taking the time and the energy away from this mental battle. This feels to me like there's a lot of busy work going on, a lot of work, like being overwhelmed with just everything that goes on in a day and not having any space or time for yourself. You need to have clarity, and you can't get clarity if you don't make time. You don't create space for yourself. How can you heal? How can you think? How can you create anything for yourself if you don't give yourself any space? Have as much compassion and interest in furthering your own development as you do for other people, so that you can share your gifts. Because you're a very creative, vivacious woman, right? Or man here. You've got all this stuff to offer, and to offer yourself too, right? But you've got to make some space. But be patient, because not everything happens overnight. You just need to trust in your destiny, that if you take some time away from whatever it is you're doing now, the world won't collapse, right? If you take some time away from what you're doing now to go after the things that you're meant to do here on this earth, the world won't stop turning. Okay? And then we get to Bardo in the south, and this is something that you need to shed. You just need to shed it. And the Bardo is about that limbo state where, I liken it to, maybe someday, right? I mean, in reality, this card is the place between this life and the next. It's that space through which the soul passes to get to the other side. But there's potential here in this space, right, this limbo space, moving to this space and out of this space, for forgiveness, to forgive the unforgivable, to say the unsaid, to see the unseen, to love the unloved, and to let all things go that causes pain. Because once you cross over to the other side, none of that stuff matters anymore. I mean, this is a pretty deep reading for you, Dragonfly. Spirit is talking about the afterlife, and that none of this busy work is going to matter to you. You need to go after your purpose and make space for that to happen. Because at the end of the day, the gifts that you have, that you were instilled with and imbued with when you came into this world, that you're supposed to be sharing with other people, can't be developed until you do any further. Anyway, if you open yourself up to this wisdom, I think you're going to experience remarkable healing and transformation for yourself. And now we go to the west, and this is the part of you that needs to die off in order to make room for your new self. And humorously, it's time for a nap, right? But basically, you get the same message all over here, right? Make some space. Step away and take a rest. This encourages you to go in a state of non-action and let your cares go. This is all about meditation, 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 so that you can get clear, figure out what's really important, what you're supposed to be doing here, and to do that. okay? The overbusy mind can block your inner wisdom, so don't force anything. But release yourself from the shackles of this constant back and forth, darting around, okay? The mental aspect of that. That's what I have for you, dragonflies. Going to move on now to the crow. Well, hello there. You picked the crow, and the crow is your spirit totem animal. Crows are a symbol of magic. The three-eyed crow is a symbol of seeing the past, present, and future at the same time. Spirit is trying to let you know that you have magic capabilities right now. I picked 3 other cards for you guys. And we got the 8 of coins, the page of coins, and the Hierophant. Interestingly enough, these all have to do with being studious, with following the norms, with studying, being a good teacher, being a good lecturer, and building on something that you're working hard on, but diligently. This is a thoughtful output towards a future. And this is also like the possibility of great abundance here, you know, practical material abundance. And then the Hierophant can also be a lecturer or a teacher about esoteric subjects, as well as someone who is practical, who values humanity. Justice is important to the Hierophant. So I'm not sure exactly what your career or your job is. It seems to me like it's probably something with some authority, okay? And I say that because when we go into, or will be, when we go into the top card here, which is the North, and this is the wisdom that Spirit is trying to give you right now, we have the staff. And the staff is actually a symbol of authority. It's like Moses holding the staff, right? It holds power to temper extremes from the right to the left. And that seems like the person here in this crow description from these 3 cards. This person is fairly balanced, okay? And practical and thoughtful and reliable and dependable and all that kind of stuff. This ability to balance extremes will help you always find the right course of action. And it comes from a deep longing to serve, and that's the Hierophant as well. So you've got that twice here. Spirit is asking you to take the first step on a journey your heart has already embarked on, and to find that delicate balance between will and surrender. In the East here you have connection, and this is all about your ability to be vulnerable, but it's also about your gift of empathy. When you have authority and the ability to determine people's fates, and you're a magical person, right? Empathy is a very important gift. A lot of people in power don't have the ability to temper those extremes, right? But you do. You can see the divine in everyone, and the divine that connects us all together. And that is the gift that you have to offer, whatever it is that you're going into right now. When you look at the bottom of the page, we have agape. And it's so funny how all of this is surrounded around the betterment of community, serving the community, doing things that coordinate with universal law and with social norms and customs, and balancing that power with empathy and connection, because agape is the card below. And agape is unconditional love and devotion, but this can only be present when we value something larger than ourselves. When something larger than ourselves is at the base of our spiritual connection, then we can experience agape love. You know, it's alive in us then. And it stretches our capacity to love and serve. So again, love and serve, love and serve, love and serve. Love and serve. But with authority and with power, with great power. Right? I love that empathy is here and unconditional love. Crow, you're going to make some magical changes out there in the universe. And then buy the book. This is what actually needs to die off in order for all of this to take place, and all this hard work that you're putting in to get to the point where you have this capacity to make these changes. This is saying if in the past you've had periods of rebellion where you've kind of gone off the rails, that no longer can happen. That you have to now abide by karmic law, universal law, law of attraction, law of karma, cultural laws, spiritual laws. You have to do that now because you have the ability, with all of this power and all of this hard work and resources and this staff in your hand, to do great damage too. Right? But that's not going to be you, because you can temper it. You know the extremes. And you will make the right humane decision for everyone involved. Because you're the Hierophant. You're connected to the divine. And you have empathy. And whatever you've gone through in your life that's given you this empathy, this is why you are now getting the staff handed to you by Spirit. Okay? This is a message to you from Spirit that this gift of power comes with responsibility to behave in the ways ordained by universal law. All right? So that is your reading, Crow. And I hope that was helpful to you. I'll be moving on now. Thanks.